So folks have been emailing me YouTube questions, phone calls. I actually got a phone call the other day. Uh, actually, like 3 or 4 phone calls. But everybody's been asking the same question, and that is, Dave, when do I plant spring food plots? And the way people ask it or think that it works is that it's like the same across the board, and that couldn't be further from the truth, because there's really no best time to do it. It's when the weather is right to do it, if that makes sense. You can't just say, oh, you have to plant by April 1st. You have to plant February 15th. You have to plant April 20th. You have to plant May 15th. There's no set date to plant. And if you read, and if you buy buck on the bag type seed, it'll have the zones laid out on the back of it. When it ranges, it's got a wide range. It'll say February 1st to March 30th or something. That's a wide range, and that's generic. It doesn't mean you have to plant it through that time period that it states. And the answer is when the soil and the weather is warm enough to do it. Unless you're actually frost seeding clover. Obviously, frost seeding clover you can do anytime. Majority of people are planting soybeans, buckwheat, and clover in the spring. Is what I'm gathering, which is very good to plant if you need it. But that's what everybody's been asking. So when you're planting clover and you're not frost seeding clover, the best time to do it, clover will typically germinate around 56, 57, 58, 59 degrees, somewhere in that area. So when you're coming up into spring, it's going to be different in each state, each area. You have to pay attention to the weather. When you start seeing a steady forecast of 55, 56, 57, 58, 60 degrees with no chances of frost, go ahead and plant clover. So that's going to be your best time. And if there's still a lot of frost in the forecast and you're planting clover, that's okay. But what you don't want it to do is you don't want it to plant it and then have a frost, because it's going to germinate. And then if it gets a frost, it could potentially shunt it or actually kill it. So you have to look at that forecast for weather. Obviously, you need rain, so plant before rain. The longer you let that seed sit on the dirt without rain for it to germinate and warm temperatures, the more chances of you have it washing away, the more chances of you having it, birds eat it, turkeys, especially if you have a high turkey population. Birds will wipe you out. Trust me, I've been there. They will literally wipe a food plot out with seeds, especially if you're planting like soybeans or iron-clay cowpeas. They will wipe it out quick. Now, the other good thing is if you're planting soybeans, if you have a large enough area to plant them, or whatever the case may be, if you're fencing them off, soybeans are very good for deer. Obviously, if you're in an agricultural area and your property butts up to 50, hundreds of acres of soybeans, then your little half-acre soybean plot isn't going to really help in the spring and fall. So you just have to pay attention what's in your area and plan accordingly. But same thing with kind of soybeans. They're going to germinate around 58, 59, 60, 62 degrees, somewhere in that area. So again, there's no best time. According to what a bag says, the best time is related to weather. So when you're, again, no chances of frost, go ahead and plant your soybeans. Another cool crop to plant, which is very beneficial not only for deer, soil, butterflies, birds, turkey, everything like that, is buckwheat. And I'm a huge fan of buckwheat. I actually like mixing that in with soybeans. It's very good to do. Now, buckwheat actually loves heat. I mean, it loves heat, and it does not like cool weather. So if you're planting buckwheat, you want to make sure that temperatures are somewhere above 65, 67, 68, 69, 70, somewhere in that range. It'll germinate. Now, it will grow, a little bit cooler than that, down to about 60, 62. But you have to be careful with it, because if it grows, you get really cold weather, it's going to die. It's not going to make it. But if you're planting buckwheat, it absolutely loves heat. It's pretty drought resistant. But just always plant when you have a rain coming. We plant many acres of buckwheat pretty much every year. I love planting buckwheat. It's good for rotations. Depending on what state you're in, what part of the country, you can get away with, you know, two or three plantings of buckwheat per year to kind of prep that soil for fall food plots, which is a very good thing to do as well. So I've been getting hammered with this question, Dave. When is the best time to plant? The best time to plant spring food plots is according to weather, soil temp, outdoor ambient temps. That's the best time. You can't go by the dates on the bag. That's just a generic time frame. It doesn't always work out to be that. No chance of frost, you can go ahead and plant those soybeans, buckwheat, clovers. If you're frost seeding clover, you can obviously do that when it's freezing thawing is fine. If you're planting an annual clover, it's best to do that either in the fall, or you can actually plant that in the spring, but just make sure there's no frost with that as well. But that should answer, hopefully that answered your question, guys. If you have any more questions about that, post them down below. Also, check out these new shirts, Plot, Spray, Slay. We had these made up all kinds of different colors. If you want to order these, there's a link in the description of every single video. You click that link, it'll take you over there. You can choose from coffee mug, all kinds of different designs on there you can choose from. And also there's a shelf, you know, display shelf right below each video where you guys can look at and, you know, click it there or actually in the description. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.